Some of you have heard of the Hanukkah song, Rock of Ages, Ma Otsur Yeshuati, where God is likened to a tzur, a rock. And my opening question is, what does a rock, why is a rock an apt symbol of God? What does a rock tell us about how we understand God? Michal? Strength. God is strong, right? A rock, very difficult to break. You can sling it. Yes. A rock can be an anchor. That's two things. It can be an anchor, and right, a large rock, is immovable. So too is God. Okay, great, Brian. A rock is a foundation, right? God is our foundation as a people for the world. Yes. Enduring. Yeah, a rock. My cousin used to tell me when we would go for hikes in the canyons of upstate New York that if you look at all of the levels of a layer of rock, it's like an ancient calendar going way back in time, and a rock reminds us of just the long history of the world and God's creation. Hillary?
To take the immovable thing one step further, that God's not going anywhere, God's always there for us.
God is a constant presence, right? God is always there for us. Great. Marge?
But rocks are different shapes, different sizes. Some are movable, some aren't.
Very nice. Many different forms of rocks. Many dimensions. Some rocks we can move. Some rocks we cannot. Highlighting, right, the many different aspects of God. Yes. Great.
I just have to jump in and say I love that because some rocks you can take with you.
Oh,
which is even
very
nicer.
nice.
I really
very
like
nice.
that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, some rocks you can carry with you. I like that. Very nice. Yeah. You could have a round rock, right? And it has sort of this endless in form. Yes?
They're everywhere.
Rocks are everywhere. So too is God. Yeah, very good, very good. Okay. Well, we're going to see, the reason why I asked this question is because in this week's Torah portion, second to last one of our scroll, we see Moses creates a song for the people of Israel. This is Moshe's final message to the people of Israel, right before, the penultimate message that Moses gives to the people of Israel. And it is in this week's Torah portion for the first time we see the use of rock as a way of describing God. We attribute, Tzur, Ma Otsur Yeshuati, that's a connection to Moses' first time of describing God in this way. So let's see what Moshe is trying to teach us about what a rock means. And I want everyone to open up, if you can, to page 1185. And we see, we go to verse 3 and then verse 4, right? For the name of the Lord I proclaim, give glory to our good Havagodel Eloheinu. And what are we going to say? Hatzur, the rock. And what is about this rock? Tamim pa'alo kichol drachav mishpat el emunah ve'ein avel tzadik v'yasharhu. The rock, his deeds are perfect. Yes, all his ways are just. A faithful God, never false, true and upright is he. So someone help connect the beginning part of that verse to the end. Right? We have a rock. The deeds are perfect, just, faithful, never false, true, upright. Connect. What is a rock here? What's the link of a rock to the other parts of the verse? Why did Moses choose a rock to begin that verse? I guess that's the question. The rock. Deeds are perfect. All his ways are just. I think maybe Moshe is hinting that we don't know the impact of deeds. We don't understand the impact of justice. And here, those of you who said that a rock is a foundation, you could see that what is the foundation of God's rule but justice? That justice is not just an idea, something that is nice, but it's foundational to the way we live. Truth, right? As the Jewish people see truth not as a subjective idea, but something that is also a consistent, strong presence in the world that we live in. And then look what we have here. True and upright is he. Someone who is moral. Someone who is just, right? Is someone who is upright. Just like a strong stone standing, so too is that stone. Anyone want to add anything to that? Yeah, Nancy. Yes? 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 Fair point. We already know God is just. We already know people can be just. Why here? And I think that is the point. Because here, Moshe is linking that to the idea of a rock. So someone who is just like God is just, this is a very strong trait, a strong characteristic, something that is from the beginning of time. So when we are truthful, when we are just, again, it's not just a short-term expression of how we're behaving, but we are linking ourselves to something much deeper, much more powerful, much more, as someone said earlier, enduring. Marge?
It really contrasts with talking about water and showers.
Say it again?
The contrast, in the paragraph before, talking about waters and shower, which disappear, they have a very short life.
Yes?
A rock, which has often a very long life.
Oh, yes. We're going to get to that. Because you notice what you just highlighted. Water. And then we start talking about a rock. And who is teaching us about this? Moses. Stay tuned. We're going to probably go link those three together if you haven't already. Yes?
We look at a rock as unchanging, but it's unchanging to us because we're seeing it in it's very slow time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the justice that we build, even though, like the Torah has very specific rules of justice, but our understanding of how to apply them do slightly change over time. But we're, like you said, we're building on top of the rock. We're not taking something away, but we are evolving slowly and bringing that justice into the world.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So, yes, a rock over time can change its shape and form.
The rocks of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, fair enough. Just like justice has a way of evolving, right, even though it's linked to an ancient source. Yeah, very good. Judy?
I see a contradiction here. The first thing I saw is a rock,
Mm-hmm.
and then the word perfect, but rocks are not perfect. So I'm looking at the translation. The word is emunah, which is faith. So I'm wondering if perfect is really the right word.
So that's a fair point. It's a great word that is being used to describe Hatzur, is tam, right, tamim, which can mean perfect. It can also mean what is the third son of the Passover Seder? We got wise, we got wicked, we got the simple. And in Hebrew, simple is tam. At the same time, how was our forefather Jacob described? Tam. So Tam has a number of interpretations. What I think Moshe is trying to use is show that, the acts of God, right, ultimately come from a true source, a true just source. And maybe we can't see it in the moment, but there's ancient power, an enduring pathway that we link to when we act in just ways. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now we're going to go to page 1187. And I'm on verse 13. He set him atop the highlands to feast on the yield of the earth. He fed him with honey from the crag and oil from the flinty rock. Yarkiveu al bamatai aretz be'achel tenuvat sadai v'ankiu devash misela v'shemen mechalmish sur. So here we see oil coming from the flinty rock. What is being described here? Well, we'll see, Rabbi Kornberg. You said not Israel, right?
Not the land of Israel, i.e. everyone else has oil, but not us.
Fair enough. Although I was going to... So Rabbi Kornberg, I will just go with what his answer is, like he's describing, which I think is the apt idea here, is when something resourceful comes out of the earth, right, and a rock yields it. And Rabbi Kornberg said, not Israel, although in this day and age, we are seeing sources of oil come out of Israel. But here, a rock is seen as a source that has sustenance. Let's jump ahead to page 1189, verse 18. Tsur yaladecha tashi vatishkach el mecholecha. You neglected the rock that begot you, forgot the God who brought you forth. What is the image here of a rock? As a what? I love that. A father. Yeah, very good. Very good. Or as a parent. Yep. Very much so. Yep. Very true. And what might be what could have been observable at this time when we are reminded of just how much rock is inside the earth? What happens occasionally in the world around us where we are reminded of this very fact? A volcano, right? An earthquake too. An earthquake is a very fair answer. Here, though, it's like when a volcano, something comes forward, right, and can build a land, build an island, recreate the world. And I think we link that to the idea of a father, and we see a very powerful image here that Moshe is bringing about. And by the way, one thing that is very forceful and can be destructive for long-term growth, what I want us to begin to see here is that we went from a rock of justice to a rock of sustenance, to a rock of creation and power. And now we're going to go to page 1192, verse 37. He will say, where are their gods, the rock in whom they sought refuge, who ate the fat of their offerings and drank their libation wine? Let them rise up to your help, and let them be a shield unto you. This is Moses describing other nations of the world, and he is describing them as worshiping a God who is a rock. How is a rock described? What is the intention of the usage of the word rock here? Strong, creator, just. Do we see that here? No. What do we see? Dead, unmoving. Sam? Something that's false, that doesn't have anything inside. Plain, yeah. Something that doesn't answer. Not alive, as Milt hinted at. So what I want us to see here is that Moses is really playing with the term tsur and describing God in many different ways using one word here. And some of them are very positive, and then there's also a spectrum where we go from the positive to something that becomes more destructive and eventually empty. And then the question is, what is Moshe trying to teach us about God in his penultimate message?
Many things.
God can be many things. Okay. What else?
But he's only one thing, but he's many things. Like, he's still a rock.
How do we reconcile that? God is many things, but God is one thing. How do we reconcile that? Yep. God is all things. Okay. Okay. Mhm.
That, like our forefathers, each one has a separate relation, each person has a separate relationship with God. And so, we all see the rock differently, experience the rock differently, but there's only one rock.
Correct. And what Hillary is hinting at is all of our forefathers had their own way of connecting to God. You may have seen or heard this drash about the opening part of our Amidah, that each and every one of our ancestors is invoked when describing what it means to be in relationship with God. And the question is, why didn't just say all of our ancestors? Why every name of our foremothers and forefathers? And the answer is each of them came to understand God on their own terms. And what I would add to that is that how we understand God is our choice. We choose to understand God in different ways. And we can choose to see God as creator. We can see God as a source of justice. We can see something out of the bonds, which is a God that is empty. And that rests with us. And I think this is part of Moshe's final message to us. And it hints, it is linked to a theme of the last book of the Torah, whereas Moshe again and again is saying, blessing or curse, but you make the choice. Moses is realizing that our relationship with God is going to be linked to the choices that we make. And Moshe himself has gone through a transformation of God, his relationship with God, very much linked to the image of a rock. So Moshe, by the way, where is he born? Egypt. What's the Hebrew word for Egypt? Mitzrayim. What is the root word of Mitzrayim? Tsar. Tsur. Have you ever gone through Tsuris? It means that you've gone through a narrow space, right? But Tsar, Tsur, Moshe, in some ways you can argue, was born from a rock, that a rock was going to be very much linked to his destiny and his relationship with God. When Moses finally says, I want to see you, God, what does God tell him to do? Hide behind a rock. Okay? A rock becomes a shield for Moses and also a barrier. And of course, why does Moses not make it into the land of Israel? Because he hits the rock. And what was he supposed to do? He was supposed to speak to it first, and then he was supposed to hit it. But what does Moshe not do? Speak. But why doesn't he speak? What did he not do by not speaking to it? He demonstrated that he did not. Before accepting God's command, what was the simple act that he did not do? I love these beautiful psychological answers. But God said, speak to the rock and then hit it. And Moshe only hit it. Therefore, Moshe did not what? Listen. What is the name of this week's Torah portion? Ha'azinu, which means to listen. So Moshe is hinting that yes, we have lots of choices in terms of how we can establish a relationship with God. But the way we make sure that we are linked to a God that is constructive, that is just, is make sure that we're always listening for God's voice. Otherwise, we end up with an empty rock, whether that be our relationship or whether it be how we come to understand God. And what then is the goal? We either listen. There's two pathways here. What's the goal here? A, we listen to God, and we find these beautiful ways of having a relationship. And then there's another piece in our liturgy where the rabbis say, I think we're missing one piece here. And that is, yes, God needs us to listen for God to be God. But there's another piece here. Before the Amidah, we'd say, Tzur Yisrael, Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael, like Rock of Israel, arise. But how does that rock arise? Only Be'ezrat Yisrael. Ezrat Yisrael means the help of Israel. So just like we need God, God needs our help. That there is a relation, that not only is it advantageous to us to choose God, but it's advantageous for God as well because God needs our help. And the ultimate expression, I'll just end here, then I can pause for questions, see a couple of hands. The ultimate expression of choosing God and being in partnership with God, modern state of Israel, and in the Declaration of Statehood, there was a big debate about how God should be described. And ultimately, the title that is given for God is the Tzur Yisrael, the Rock of Israel. We like to say that, it's the rock because Israel's strong. It could be the Rock of Israel because Israel is just. It could be the Rock of Israel because Israel is and has an enduring presence. It could also be that the Rock of Israel hints at the eternal relationship with God and the people of Israel. Us choosing God and God only being manifested as a result of the choices that we make. Any questions? Michal.
First of all, I loved all the things that I could hear that people said. It was really beautiful. And the language in this Torah portion is exceptionally beautiful. And I was thinking how nice that God made it so easy by talking about a rock, because anywhere that you are in Israel, or anywhere they were in the desert, they saw rocks and they see mountains. Like, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
And it is incredibly connecting. Like, this is, my rock, but not their rocks, not their altars, but mine, very moving, I find.
He's using a relevant metaphor for the people of Israel because that's what they see around them. And I like the other piece is that he's encouraging the people of Israel to take ownership through the choices that they make. My rock. Anyone else? Yeah, Howard.
I think I finally understand a drash I heard 20 plus years ago.
Okay, good memory.
And I think you bring it out with the lines in the last one, line 37 on 1192. So some people see the rock, it's just this plain old rock.
Yep.
But others of us see this as a special rock. And because we see it as a special rock, it is a special rock. But it wouldn't be special unless we see it as special. In other
Yep.
words, God's only great because we see him as great. If we didn't see him as great, he wouldn't be as great as he is.
Right, God, the king, the queen, the ruler only becomes that when we accept the responsibility of being the king, the queen, the ruler's people.
Okay. So you kind of tied it together for me from something I heard a long time ago.
Great, great. Okay, everyone, Shabbat Shalom.